This is a pretty standard prompt that you guys might get. During this build, I'm going to be teaching you guys how to write an expository essay. This is a prompt I used last year. You are actually not going to write an essay like this, but it's simply to show you what to do. So this is a pretty standard prompt. Every prompt has 3 parts. First part that you're going to get is this read part. It will always say read the following quotation, and it's going to give you a quote. If you do not yet know this, you should not read this quote. You should never have this quote in your essay. What I always recommend doing is just to cross it out. Don't read it. Don't worry about it. It's designed to trick you. Same thing with the sentence that comes after the quote. This is called a think about statement. It's this sentence right here. We do not even need to read it. The only sentence that matters is the one that starts with write an essay explaining. Every single prompt is going to have an essay that says this. It's the only sentence that matters in the prompt. It's the only one you should really pay attention to. Highlight it in yellow. During this essay, we're going to write an essay explaining how a country should respond if it's attacked by another country. Okay? Now, I'm not actually going to show you how to write this essay by writing it. Instead, I'm just going to show you how to organize your essay and what things need to end up in there. So it's a really fast and brief overview. If you have questions, let me know. So, if I was writing this essay, the first thing I would have is this thing called a thesis. It takes up about 1, 2, 3, or 4 lines. And your thesis is 1 sentence, maybe 2 sentences, that tells your reader what you want them to learn after reading. It always needs to be at the top of your essay, and it's the most important sentence or sentences in your essay. So it's right, I don't know why it's doing that. It's right here, comes right at the very top. If I was doing this, what I'm going to do first, write an essay explaining how a country should respond if it's attacked by another country. If I'm going to write my thesis, I'm going to turn this prompt into a question. So I'll rewrite it. How should a country respond if it is attacked by another country? That's a question. Once I answer this question, how should a country respond if it's attacked by another country? Once I answer that question, I'm going to have a thesis. My answer to this question is my thesis. It's what I want the reader to learn after reading. Cool? So, the next thing I'll have, and it will take up about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lines, is idea number 1. Your idea number 1 and your idea number 2, these are the main points that support your thesis. So whatever first idea, best idea I have to support my thesis, I put it at the top. I explain it with details in about 8 lines. Then I have this thing called a connection, and then I have idea number 2. So idea number 2 is the second best thing I have to support my thesis, and I explain it also in about 8 lines. Give details, give examples, all that stuff. Now, in between my ideas, I have this thing called a connection. Connection here, and a connection here. Connections are 1 to 2 sentences that either connect your ideas together or connect your ideas to the outside world. They're super, super important. So if I feel like idea number 1 and idea number 2 can be combined, I write 1 or 2 sentences here that connect them. Or if I feel like idea number 1 can connect to the outside world, I give 1 or 2 sentences here. Cool? Same thing for the connection down here. If I feel like idea number 2 can combine with idea number 1 again, I write a connection down here. Or if I feel like idea number 2 can connect to the outside world, I write it right down here. Cool? So, that's basically it. That's how you do an essay. If you have more questions, let me know.